and welcome back to my channel. Lela here, and today I'm going to be doing a Meet the Artist. So basically it's just a meme sort of tag that I often see a lot on Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and open up to a fresh new page in my sketchbook, and basically I'm just going to be drawing a self-portrait. It's not really a portrait though. It's basically a full body drawing of myself. I'll be basically going over a few things about myself and things like likes and dislikes. So yeah. And I've been wanting to do this for a really long time. I don't know, never got around to it. But since we're still sort of in the new year of 2020, I figured, why not? I get a lot of questions in the comment section regarding, how old I am, what my background is, things like that. So I figured I'd take the time to answer all of that for you. And so I'll start off simply with some of the more obvious things. Like, for instance, Lela is my nickname. It is not my real name, but I get the name Lela from my art name, which is Lela. And my art name actually comes from The Lion King. And it basically just means hallelujah, or sometimes holy. Not that I think of myself as holy. I just thought it was an interesting and beautiful word. And I've been going by Lela for quite a while now. Currently, I am 30 years old. I get asked that question a lot as far as how old I am. And I've kind of been reluctant to answer because it's weird. Like, I'm slowly growing self-conscious about age. And I wish I wasn't, because some of my favorite artists like Jazza and Casey Golden and even Loish are 30 or older as well. So I'm not sure why I'm so like, oh, I'm 30 years old. Like, it's really not that big of a deal, but I don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to change up this pose because I am either gonna have to make myself way too short or I'll have to cut off my feet, which is the usual problem with me. I either draw too big or I start too low. Like, I probably could have brought this character up just a bit and had room to do an entire full body standing, but clearly that's not gonna work now. But as far as being short goes, I don't think I'm short. I think I'm pretty average height. I'm 5'3", almost 5'4", but not quite. I think the doctor once told me I was 5'3" and 3/4. And I am half Puerto Rican, my mom being born and raised in Puerto Rico, and half Colombian, with my dad being born and raised in Colombia. But despite being Hispanic, I do not know Spanish, which is something I have complained about for years to my parents. Why? Why didn't you teach me Spanish? Which is a decision that they fully regret. But at the moment, though, I do have a Cuban boyfriend who is bilingual. So I speak slightly enough to kind of get by. I mean, depending if the person also knows English slightly, I can kind of get by. I'm not liking this leg. It looks weird. I'm gonna change it up. And at the moment I have really, really long hair that is super curly, and I sometimes go out with my hair down, but for the most part, you're much more likely to find me with my hair up in a messy bun with crazy curls just kind of falling everywhere. As far as clothing, I'm also kind of simple. I mean, on an average day, you could probably find me in leggings and either an oversized t-shirt or something flowy. And I'm pretty much just drawing actually what I'm wearing right now. I have on this orange shirt where it's like a tank top, but then it's got these little sleeves with the shoulders cut out, and it's super comfortable. It's from Torrid, and it's just roughly all around. And then I just have on these leggings. They have a little bit of style to them. At the bottom, they have a little opening that kind of has a crisscross design. It's really cute. Sometimes I wish I had a bit of a more edgier sort of look, like something more trendy, like a Visco girl or something. Because I really enjoy drawing those type of girls, but I don't know. I also feel like I'm too old for that style. I don't know. And then you'll never see me leave my house without my crossbody bag, which is just a navy purse that has like a floral design on it, and I really like it. And I figured I'd pencil in my name, and now I'm going over it with a Sharpie. All right, so I got my name in there because I kind of want to make this look like a profile, kind of like stats sort of thing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and ink myself in. And I've seen a few other artists on Instagram also draw like what's in their bag. But I feel like if I drew the individual items actually in my bag, this would end up being a super long video. And I'm not exactly feeling in the mood for all that. Plus, it's also boring. Like, I think artists are doing it to share, like, what exactly they're always carrying. And I think a lot of artists tend to carry artistic things, whereas I only do art pretty much at home. I mean, sometimes I'll go out and sketch, but it's pretty rare. So yeah, as far as what's in my bag, it's just normal adult things. Car keys in order to drive around because I live in a small town where public transportation doesn't really exist. And I say that because I don't particularly care for driving. I have like major anxiety when it comes to driving. But since I live in a small town, it's not that bad. But driving in big cities is not my thing. I hardly do it at all. And then of course I've got a wallet because I'm an adult. And I have to carry my driver's license and my cards and my money and things like that. Cell phone, some gum, mints, things like that. That's pretty much it. I'm not an exciting person. I'm really not. And so now I'm doing another sort of like box on the side where I'm going to write down like likes and dislikes. And so likes pretty much include coffee, which is pretty much why I have one in my drawing. Family, of course. I enjoy getting together and, I don't know, spending time with my family. It's pretty normal, but you know. Of course, I like art, so I should probably list that. That's a no-brainer. I really love Christmas, so I'm going to write that down. Like, I'm a freak about Christmas. I like decorating. I like doing arts and crafts that are Christmassy, things like that. I love to read, although I haven't read anything recently. And I love to write, although I often write fan fiction, so... I like journaling. I don't do it anymore on the channel, but I still like to do it personally. I like traveling, although I have travel anxiety, so it's a toss-up between liking it and not liking it. And, I love pasteles, which are a Puerto Rican thing. It's pretty much like a meat pie, which sounds kind of gross, but it's so good. The dough or masa, as we call it, is made of like different vegetables and stuff that are mashed together. And this is actually sounding kind of gross, but it may well be an acquired taste. Maybe it's something I just, grew up with and that's why I love it so much. But yeah, it's really good. Dislikes. Well, I hate driving. Really hate being sick. I used to have this job where I took care of 20 first graders and I was constantly sick and it was awful. Insects, don't like them. Although I'm pretty sure I have an actual phobia of roaches. I can't even be in the same room if there's like a roach in there. I hate celery unless it's like covered in a gob of like cream cheese or something. And even then I just eat the cream cheese and not really the celery. Rude people. Really dislike people who go out of their way to be mean and stuff. I don't know. It's like, why? Why would you do that? Horror movies. Oh, I can't stand horror movies. And I hate long plane rides. I went abroad 2016 and it was a 12-hour flight and I hated it. It was rough to get through because I feel claustrophobic and confined, so not my favorite. And then weather extremes. I hate when the weather is either too cold or too hot, because too cold makes me depressed and too hot makes me exhausted. I don't know. So those are some things about me. And before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring myself in. And you'll probably notice that I constantly use brush markers when it comes to coloring in the sketchbook. And there's actually a reason for that. Mostly because this paper is kind of interesting. I can't quite explain it, but it's a very dry sort of texture kind of paper. So it's not easy to blend at all. So you can use chisel and bullet nibs just fine. But if you're looking to blend your colors, you're going to have a really, really difficult time. Whereas using brush markers makes it, I don't want to say easier because it's not like it makes a huge difference, but the brush marker does help with getting a better smoothness, I guess you could say, to the color. Regardless though, I really enjoy this sketchbook, and I feel like the blending thing is just kind of a minor issue because I feel like my shading is a strong cell shading kind of technique, so I personally don't mind it. And then I have brown eyes. Oh, I really like that color combo. Honey and pale mauve. It's pretty much the color of my hair too, which is brown. Used to dye it a lot when I was younger. I've had like red hair, blonde hair. I've even had like a bluish green hair. Not all over, but I did like the tips and the underside once when dyeing hair, like underneath was a big trend. And the shirt I'm wearing is kind of a coral, almost orangey kind of color, but I don't seem to have pinkish orange on me, so I think this coral will do for now though. And then my leggings are kind of a bluish gray, so I figured I'd go with this BG3 color. And then my crossbody bag is this kind of like navy color that's kind of saturated though. So it's not like super bright navy. And this color comes pretty much the closest to how it looks. And then lastly, my shoes are actually like pitch black, but I'm going to do them in just very dark gray. Because if I did them pitch black, they'd just look like two big black masses. And yeah, I don't think that'd look good. And then SHINIES in my eyes. And then my shirt has these little white decorations on them, so I'm going to add that. It's a little tedious drawing all these little designs, but the end result is really pretty, so I'm really liking it. And that's that. I went ahead and I added one last box at the bottom just to kind of balance it out. It felt really like heavy with information here and just a blank white space here, so I was like, let me just put my stats, which I already mentioned all my stats in the beginning. So yeah, I'm really so happy with how I portrayed myself. I can definitely see my traditional art getting better. I don't feel like it's on par with my digital art, but I'm glad that I'm practicing because I feel like this is probably one of the best pieces I've done so far traditionally. So yeah. So I hope you got to find out a lot more about me in this video. And if you enjoyed it, maybe comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.